So before we begin the official State of the City, we wanted to share with you a recent video that celebrated our 90th birthday, Is the City. Please join me, let's watch it together, and then after that I'll make my remarks.
My name is Ole Hansen. I had a vision 90 years ago of a place where people could live together more pleasantly than any other place in America. I was going to build a beautiful city on the ocean, where the whole city would be a park. The architecture would be all of one type, and homes would be built on sites where nearly everyone would have their view preserved forever. The vision was very clear to me. I saw hundreds of white-walled homes bonneted with red tile, with palm trees, shrubs, and plants lining the drive, and a profusion of beautiful flowers illuminating the gardens and patios. I saw sidewalks of red Spanish tile curving picturesquely over the land. I wanted parks. I wanted a plaza. I wanted a community pool. I wanted a golf course. I wanted a fishing pier. And I wanted a beach enlivened with people getting a healthy joy of life. And now, 90 years later, I see that my vision has been fulfilled. And so I would like to invite you all to celebrate the 90th anniversary of the city of San Clemente, my vision of a Spanish village by the sea.
So what is it that you love most about San Clemente?
You know, I'm originally from Pennsylvania, and the thing I love about San Clemente is if you get involved, it's like you get that small town feeling, you know, wherever you go, you're running into people.
I love San Clemente. I've lived here since 1974, taught at the high school for 32 years. I had the best kids because I think we have the best parents. And to me, that's the best thing about San Clemente, is that it's a small town community. And it seems that no matter how much it grows or how much road work is done, that small town atmosphere and spirit of San Clemente thrives.
My favorite thing about San Clemente is all the people who came to live here and enjoy what we have to offer.
The favorite thing I have about San Clemente is that we were both incorporated the same year, 1928. I was 10 years old when we came here in 1938, and the city was 10 years old as well that same year. And I've grown up here, and San Clemente and I have grown up together, and I think we helped make it a pretty nice place.
Everything about San Clemente is awesome. The beach, the area, the people, you walk around knowing everybody. It's pretty cool. We're pretty fortunate down here.
The wonderful weather, of course.
The beach. Yeah, the beach.
What's my favorite part of San Clemente? Everywhere.
My favorite thing about this beautiful city are its beaches, the beach trails, and the friendly spirit of the people.
What's not to love?
Everything. Everything's my favorite part about San
The
Clemente.
people.
The history. Trestles, even though it's technically in San Diego County.
The Trestles community where we live.
The mountain bike trails, the beach trail. Do we say the people?
The people.
The people.
The beach. The pier.
I think that about covers it.
One of the best things about San Clemente is if you turn around and look right there, the view of the ocean.
Miss Jane, what's your favorite thing about San Clemente?
It's got to be the beaches.
Now you ask me.
And what is your favorite thing?
The people, the beaches, everything about it.
I think it's the beach and the view. Do you know what my favorite thing is? Everything. I think it's the fact that it has a close community, so everyone's kind of connected in a way.
Just getting up every morning and being here and looking out at the ocean and wondering how I ever got this lucky.
Hello, my name is Ole Hansen. You may have heard of me. I built this town. And I have come back after 90 years, and I am very happy to say that my vision has been fulfilled. And so, I want everyone to join me in wishing San Clemente a happy 90th anniversary and fulfilling my vision of a Spanish village by the sea.
Happy birthday, San Clemente.
Happy birthday, San Clemente.
Happy birthday, San Clemente.
Happy birthday, San Clemente. And here's a toast to Ole Hansen, who created a place where we could live more pleasantly than anywhere else.
Happy birthday, San Clemente, and I hope to see you again in 90 more years.
Happy birthday, San Clemente.
Happy birthday,
San Clemente.
Happy birthday, San Clemente.
Happy birthday, San Clemente! Happy birthday, San Clemente!
Happy birthday, San Clemente.
Happy birthday, San Clemente.
Happy birthday, San Clemente! We love you!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, San Clemente. Happy birthday to you. We did just celebrate 90 years as a community, and as you could tell by that video, there's a deep wellspring of affection and love for this community that many have worked so hard to make what it is today. And there's a few takeaways from that. First of all, I probably should slow down on the birthday cake. Oh, that's a first takeaway here. I really didn't realize the camera adds 50 pounds. And the second takeaway is that Rod doesn't know how to use a microphone. That's the second takeaway, because he's holding it like this, as if it's got some magical power to catch sound coming the other way. So, boys, if you could work with him on his microphone skills. Will do. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. We do have so much to be proud of as a community. We had the recent completion of the Jim Johnson Memorial Park. We repurposed North El Camino Real last summer to address mobility needs along the coastal roadway. These improvements create an aesthetic gateway to our northern border and had infrastructure improvements. Who here has had a chance to bike or run on the trail on PCH now that's been renovated? It looks great. And we went through a few lumps early as folks tried to understand and figure out how it works, but now we think that has improved immeasurably. An interesting fact is traffic along this segment has increased over 20% for vehicles and 40% for bicycles from the traffic volume on the roadway prior to that. We also had the rehabilitation of the Ole Hansen Beach Club. This was a project that had been in the works for a long time, and it was a building that was worth affection and our greatest attention. So the council and the city made a deliberate decision to put our best foot forward, improve and renovate that building to the point where we felt as if it would withstand decades of use without another significant remodel. So we're very proud of that. I think the new building looks beautiful, and the 90th celebration really attested to all that's been done there, and so we're very grateful for that as well. We also adopted a recent updated Beaches Parks and Recreation Master Plan. It's a guideline for how we're going to be approaching our parks going into the future. And then we also have a number of other projects around town that we didn't have a hand in, but we certainly had to display a tremendous amount of patience as they came into completion. For example, the I-5 Pico Interchange project. We attended the grand opening of the ceremony. It was last Thursday, I'm looking. When was it? Last Thursday? And so here we're thinking, oh, great, that's behind us, and they decide they want to reduce the roadway to one lane over Easter holiday weekend. We sure appreciated that. The texts were very generous from the residents. I took it. I was so grateful it was over. I didn't extend those. I didn't send those on to Caltrans, but the next time we see the director, we'll make sure and mention that we felt his love over that weekend. There's still a lot to do here. We added a carpool lane all the way down. It came to Pico and goes all the way down into San Juan. On Pico itself, there were vehicle lanes that were added for a total of 9, 5 eastbound and 4 westbound, and bike lanes were added. The entire project was a $275 million project. And I think maybe you could join me, but just based on observation, we've had some improvements on the traffic flow through that bend. And I'm grateful that that has been completed. We also had the La Pata project was completed. I think Pat Bates would like to acknowledge her hand in getting that put on the table and completed. Actually, a round of applause would definitely be appreciated for her. So that was completed in August of 2016, and the Camino del Rio extension was completed in January of 2017. And these are all a part of the county's master plan of arterials that have to improve mobility here. The project cost was $130 million and was a tremendous amount of grading that had to be completed. We also had, and this is an important item that is a little bit understated, I would bet that most in this room, we also had a unanimous approval from the Coastal Commission of our local coastal plan. And this is, will make it easier for folks who live in the coastal zone to be able to do improvements to their property without having to go to the Coastal Commission itself. We are given essentially binding authority on certain actions. So this was frankly, it was something that had been in the works a very long time, and it was, we're grateful to have an approval on that. Lastly, I think that there's something that's definitely worth recognizing here, and that is the Miramar Theater, which has, for as long as I've been on council, has been a challenging subject at best. But through the good work of former Mayor Wayne Eggleston, combined with the applicants, we were finally able to get, and city staff who work with them, we were finally get all of the regulatory permits issued, and now they are just working through what would be the operations, the financing, and getting that launched. So there is a path forward now for them. It's just up to them to walk that. And so these are all the things we have to be very proud of. When I was mayor 3 years ago, part of this presentation was looking forward and saying, it's going to be tough, we need to be patient, and we have been patient, and now we get to see the benefit of all of these projects that have happened. However, there's still quite a bit to do. We have, in 2016, we set aside reserve funding and additional budget to address the long-standing issue of deferred maintenance. Now, this is an obligation, is real, and as ever present as a pension, as anything that we do as a city, and that is we have facilities that we have to keep into not only a great service level, but also not allow for them to deteriorate to a point where it will be even more expensive when we decide to fix them. And so we have committed, since then, $6.2 million to help address this funding gap. And then we have also, through our Beaches, Parks, and Recreation Master Plan, identified $31.9 million of additional improvements over the next 10 years to our beaches, parks, and recreation facilities. We feel like this will help really bring our facilities to the point where the services are up to par with what our community expects. As an interesting side note, we've begun to grapple, it's interesting to watch how a city goes through growth cycles. And I think as a community, we've also grown. See, it's a very different, when your median house price is $200,000, I think your expectations are different when your median house price is $800,000. And so as a community, we're also adjusting to what I believe to be as a higher expectation and a standard from our residents as to the facilities and services we offer. And so we're working hard to meet that need and to ensure that we're taking that next step and the next phase as to who we are. So let's chat a little bit about our sales tax revenues, and with actual in 2012 and 13 constant dollars as part of our general fund, you can see here that we've experienced some healthy growth. I came on council in 2010, Councilwoman Donchek, who was with me on the council at Tim, that was a very difficult time financially. I wasn't here during the incredible downturn, but we caught the back end effects on our property tax receipts and our sales tax receipts. So you've seen since then a growth pattern that has really been a vast improvement for the city and allowed us, frankly, to pursue these projects that I've identified and to do these things to completion. So we've experienced growth in this way that has really helped to improve what our offering is to the city. We also have experienced an increase in property tax revenues. You can see here from 2012 and 13, from about 28 million, we have actually gone to about 31 million in the past, 5 years? And so that improvement, and we could all probably anecdotally feel that because of the increase in housing prices. You know, everyone loves to log on to Zillow and just see, you know, what's going on and check out and find out what has improved in town. Our real estate values improved also along that, and so the city's coffers to provide and the services also improves along with that. So we've had a healthy growth in both of those areas. but there is still so much to do. In terms of our consolidated investment portfolio, we have here across all of our reserve accounts, across all of our funds and everything we have is $136 million that is invested. We have an investment advisory committee along with professionals who are overseeing that. The way that municipalities work, we don't really ever, we're pumped if we're over 1% in actual growth on that portfolio because we're very safe and we're very liquid. And so right now that's our valuation, and we are happy to note that we've been able to retain and improve that as time has gone by. But we do build ourselves on a position of fiscal responsibility. We always try and have an emergency reserve of 20% of our operating expenditures. And so we will continue to set money aside for that reason. The only thing that is constant is change, and we realize that what goes up must come down. And so as a community, we have to be prepared for those eventualities that will come down the pipe. And so we feel that by having this emergency reserve in place, that frankly was a policy decision that preceded me and a lot of the members of the council, but one that I think has been a safe investment, has been a very strong investment for our community, one that will allow us to weather any challenges that may come. So, what is life like for a nonagenarian? Or is it nonagenarian? That's it, which means 90-year-old, right? Okay. Hey, anybody here happen to be 90 plus? I'm just asking the question. You know, you don't assume anybody's age. Lynn, come on, please. And if so, then Heather's going to be hitting you up afterwards for who's doing your work, because it's amazing if you've hit 90. What is life like for nonagenarians? So I want to share something I thought was fascinating. There was a study completed for the people that are 90 years and older, and has found that the key to an extended lifespan is not necessarily diet or spending your days productively. As a matter of fact, the subjects were asked about their life histories, including their traumatic events, moves, anything and their beliefs. And the younger family members described their impressions of the older relatives' traits as well as part of the study. From the interviews, researchers concluded that exceptional longevity was characterized by a balance between acceptance of and grit to overcome adversities, a positive attitude, and close ties to family, religion, and land, all of which provide an overriding purpose for life. In effect, longevity comes down to a few beneficial psychological traits, including resilience and optimism. Fortunately, these are traits that our community has in abundance and ones that will serve us well as we move forward into the future. We maintain a commitment to certain quality of life issues that we have not backed down from. We invest in our infrastructure and assets. We are fiscally responsible and take pride in our stewardship, and we have great pride for the many accomplishments we've completed. And we take very seriously the maxim, the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. So let's chat about some of the quality of life issues. And this is always a dicey conversation because we know that there's a wide divergence of opinions that not only exists within San Clemente, but in this room. And so we will probably do so as respectfully to chat about these issues. But one of the things we've determined as a council that is a critical quality of life issue, be able to retain and to get hospital emergency medical services back to San Clemente. We feel that without these services, longer transport times affect our citizens and the medical care that they deserve and need. We are awaiting a decision in litigation brought by the city against Memorial Care on this. We've added an ambulance service to be able to try and cover that issue in the meantime. We hope for a good decision and positive outcome from that. We could work with Memorial Care to, following that decision, to have that issue addressed. The second item that is a quality of life issue is homelessness and its effects. I sat in a courtroom on Tuesday for most of the morning and early part of the afternoon with Judge Carter, where all of the mayors most of the mayors of Orange County were in attendance, and we were effectively challenged to try and address this question of homelessness. So it is certainly not isolated to our community, the challenges that are associated with this. And I must remind those, and probably not many folks are reminded of this, it's not a crime to be homeless. But it does affect the quality of life in our community when the services and the many issues that are associated with it spill over into the community. We do have a public safety task force that is meeting and deliberating on implementation measures that have been deliberated on by the Matrix study, as many associate homelessness with continued law enforcement efforts. There is a component of it that is very important, which we are going to be addressing through that process, and we are working with OCSD and community partners, including FAM, to address this issue and get individuals connected with appropriate services. I'll say with great pride that I feel that our community is very advanced in this. Councils prior to the one that is seated have done a good job with affordable housing stock, with emergency shelters for women and for families. And we really have done, when I heard many of the cities and their efforts, I felt as if we really have distinguished ourselves in this regard in terms of having resources available for those who need it. Another aspect of our quality of life is the toll road issue. It is a regional issue, but one that has significant impacts on a local level, primarily because the alignments that are projected run through our community. Our position on it is very simple. No toll roads, no new toll roads through developed communities. That's it. And so the city has taken a strategic approach to addressing the toll road expansion. We funded an IBI study that showed that the data does not support an extension to the I-5. As a matter of fact, we feel very strongly that we can accomplish a lot by using an arterial solution, and we're not exactly closed off to the idea that the toll road has to take some action, that there isn't some building that will happen, but we feel very strongly that it doesn't need to happen through our community. The final item of this is the city will continue to pursue legal and policy outcomes to support its position. As you have probably seen from our budget and from the ways we're doing, we are fully committed to the quality of life issues we believe are critical, and we will not step back from that. The last item that is a critical quality of life issue is our sober living and STLU ordinance. We fought very hard on this to mitigate impacts to our residential communities with sober living and short-term vacation rentals, and it adopted an ordinance to protect our residents. We have seen a significant decline in the complaints related to both of these issues. We are very proud of that. I would like to commend our city attorney and the rest of the council and city staff, including Adam, who is much beloved and much reviled in our community, depending on which side of this issue you stand on, because they have done a great job of zealously defending our city's interests. So actually, let's give a hand to Adam and all the city staff who were contributed on this. Unfortunately, this challenge in a community like ours is that many times these issues are defined by bad actors. And so what we have is created a regulatory framework that allows us to address those actors, and that also allows us to be able to shape what we believe is these uses, which we haven't forbidden out of town, but in the appropriate areas and in appropriate ways. We will remain vigilant in defending our communities against these quality of life issues. We also, this part is kind of, this is not very fun parts here because these usually involve expenses and attorneys and other items, but I feel like we can't give a significant state of the city without addressing these issues on point. It's important to note, though, that we maintain a tradition of fiscal stewardship. I didn't invent this tradition. Matter of fact, many in the council didn't invent this tradition. It harkens back to the mid-90s when they put into place a series of budgetary practices that we have maintained that tradition of. And we will adhere to those, and we expect that all councils would adhere to that, primarily because we codified those practices inside our general plan. But we expect that we will always retain a AAA bond rating, and we will adjust accordingly. We will continue to review and address contractual increases and rising pension costs on all fronts. It remains a big issue, not just in the city of San Clemente, but all of California. We have a conservative approach to funding our capital improvements that are critical, and we also are mindful that operating deficits, let's go to the next slide, are projected out into the future. And the reason this is because when I sat through my first council meeting, I saw one of these slides, I thought, oh my gosh, we're in so much trouble. Well, I'm so glad I'm here, to save everyone. The white horse in the night thing that actually wasn't true. In fact, what happens is these are just the projected projects that we have on the books, that as we approach these dates, we need to prioritize projects according to available budget. And so if we, for example, arrive in 2020-21 and 2021-22, and we see that we will be operating in a deficit, we simply prioritize certain projects that meet and allow us to stay in the black, and other ones we will re-engineer or we will push out until the budget is available. So as a community, we have the ability to adjust, and we stay true to those adjustments, and we feel as if it has put us in a situation of great fiscal health. So I would also like to commend city staff and all of our planning directors and all of those budgetary ones who have done a great job of allowing us to do this. This deserves a round of applause. It's not very sexy, but it's very important. That will be the last time you ever applaud a spreadsheet in your life, I guarantee you. What does the future hold for San Clemente? Well, we've shown that we can be resilient, and we also can be optimistic. And one of the things that we're kind of excited about, these are more of the fun parts of what we have coming up, which is the implementation of our Beaches Park and Recreation Plan with an emphasis on a beach trail extension. One of the things that we heard from our community and our polling is the thing they love the most is the beach trail. Who here walks on that beach trail at least once a week? That's pretty amazing. How about once a month? All right, you folks are embarrassing me. Please go walk on the beach trail at least once a month. What does it matter with you? It's a beloved community asset. As a matter of fact, I think it beat everyone by almost double in terms of amenities and use. And so we intend to not only expand that, but also improve it and extend it out as far as we can so that folks can enjoy our incredible coastline. We also, who here has played pickleball before? I'm just curious. Oh, yeah, we've got an aficionado up here. Could you demonstrate the sport to us really quickly? Okay, I kid. So pickleball is an emerging sport, and there's a very passionate, almost cultish subgroup that is pushing this sport upon us. But frankly, we've heard from a lot of folks in the know that it is a community resource that we lack in San Clemente that we should have. So we're identifying sites and places where that could go, and we're going to be prioritizing that budget-wise so that we could have that here, and so we can all join the emerging cult of pickleball players, and whatever that means. So, but I won't put you on the spot on the demonstration. Okay, tennis and ping pong combined. Did not know this. Councilman Ham, Mayor Pro Tem Ham is also aficionado with sports, so I was going to have him demonstrate it, but I think he's on duty today, so we'll excuse him from that. Last item is we've also heard from our community that skate parks amenity is an absolute must-have. I myself do not skate, and it's not that I'm afraid that at this point hips start breaking, my coccyx might shatter into 50 pieces. So I won't be indulging in skating, but our young kids and 20-something-year-olds love to skate. And we have a wonderful facility, but they have asked for more. And so we're responding on this, and we will be putting this item forward for the council to deliberate on some skate park amenities to improve and to add to our community. We continue to have this dedication in all of this to a balanced budget and fiscal responsibility, and we pledge to the community to maintain the commitment to our quality of life issues. We also have coming up the long-term transportation plan with OCTA. We feel very strongly that we should continue to stay on the front of these issues. We have benefited greatly by Councilwoman Donchek's leadership at OCTA. I think we should commend her for everything she's done for the community on those items. Please give me a round of applause. As a matter of fact, one of the things that she has really brought to our community through her leadership is our trolley program. I'm going to try this one. Who here has ridden the trolley? Raise your hand. Okay, thank you very much. Now, for something that didn't exist 2 years ago, that's pretty incredible, right? That's pretty incredible. So the numbers were, I think we had projected 8 or 9. I think to keep the trolley, we need to have 8 or 9 riders an hour, right? We had 10 riders an hour. I think I got corrected. We had maybe hoped to exceed that number. When we got back the first numbers, I think we were in the 30s, even higher 40s on that one. It's incredible. So we have shown ourselves as a community that appreciates these trolleys and these community assets, and something that we're going to continue to develop. As a matter of fact, we have submitted a grant request for an extension to connect to the Dana Point trolley system. So the new trolley will go from the North Beach outlets, circle up by the Sprouts, go down and connect to the Dana Point trolley system there, and then come back to San Clemente. And so we're excited about this. We feel like it's a great way of connecting our communities and something that we hope we'll be able to prove. We also hope in future years that they will phase us into a southward expansion of the trolley system. We also have the SC Rides program. This was launched, soft launched, when the 193 and the 191 bus routes were canceled. Who here has participated in the SC Rides program? Raise your hand. Okay, we've got a few participants in it. And kids that participate in it too. This is an interesting program. What we effectively did is when that bus service was canceled, developed a program that allowed us to partner with Lyft, that if you were to call a Lyft within 500 feet of a bus stop on the canceled bus routes, that you could get in the Lyft car and you could go anywhere in San Clemente for $2, and you put in the coupon code SC Rides. That was supplemented by OCTA as a program when we removed our bus service. Frankly, we had no idea what we were doing. It was a brand new program, but it has proven to be successful beyond, I think, our wildest imagination. And we are grateful. Tom Frake, I'm putting you on the spot, who is the man who really put this all together. We want to commend him for his good work on this. We finally had a hard launch of the program. It now includes services for handicap persons, as well as, I believe, a toll-free number, right, or a number you can call into. So let's give Tom a round of applause on that wonderful program. So we're very excited about SC Rides with Lyft. We also have our sand replenishment project with the design phase underway through 2020, and we will be coming down the pipe, and we hope that that will prove to be a great blessing for our community. We're also very excited because this year we're also planning for Welcome Home Parade for the 2nd Battalion's 4th Marines in November of 2018. We're going to have, one of the great things about a small community is we can celebrate in great ways, and we're going to have them march down Main Street, and we're going to applaud all of their service and everything done for us. Frankly, we just haven't had enough welcome home parades for our military, for our armed services members over the years. So we look forward to having you home. We wish you well while you're away from us, and we look forward to that event when it's coming up. That concludes the State of the City presentation. This is being videotaped, and so it will be available online if you'd like to share it. I believe it's going to be on the city account, and so if you'd like to share it. We also welcome any comments or feedback, so if you'd like to contact me, my email address is on the website. I will certainly take any feedback, unless it happens to be with my stylistic renderings or my voice, which I can't control. So we do appreciate your attendance here today. Thank you for attending the State of the City. And as a nonagenarian now, as a community, and we have some optimism and resilience going forward, I would like to all wish you a very happy 90th birthday. Let's make it a great year for the city of San Clemente. Thank you.